happy that these elections have proved the grassroots support that is enjoyed by my panel, which has swept the elections in both the panchayats, both in Chicalim and Bogmalo, and it has helped to defeat the propaganda of the opposition, who were, I should say, basking upon the fact that in the last election that we did not win by a huge majority as was anticipated. And at that point of time, if I remember, the same people, the so-called opposition, made propaganda. We have got special tactics. We will win this assembly election. We are giving a surprise. What was it based on? I realized ultimately it was based on luring some of my very strong people onto their side by other means, whether it was bribing them, whether it was by dirty tactics. All this came into play, but they were not able to defeat me. I won by a handsome margin as well in the last assembly election. Then they thought, again, as you know, in Bogmalo, because of some reason we got little less votes. They thought they will sweep the elections in Bogmalo. Again they took some of my people. Last moment they ditched us, and they made it a prestige issue, particularly in one ward where Ashwarya Thorat in ward number 6 was my candidate, the youngest candidate in the panchayat. So they thought they will be able to defeat her. They made a prestige issue. Chicalim, they made it a prestige issue in ward number 9 and 10, particularly in ward number 9, where a very important candidate who were earlier with me, who were not with me in this election, all forces were marshalled into these two wards. It was the stronghold of a former sarpanch. But my karyakartas, along with my support, proved that the people are with us. People are with Mauvin Godinho as a grassroots worker. I still consider myself as a grassroots karyakarta. I am not a minister when I approach the people. Mine was a very limited engagement. I did not go for campaigning per se, but I stayed put from my office in order to give them little support in terms of morally encouraging them, prodding them, go, you are capable, you have to show yourself. And what has happened in the bargain? Some person who was pretending to be with me in my last assembly election, he made it a prestige issue, interfere at all. I said, let anybody come, we have to ultimately work with everybody. So, but in spite of that, we won 6 out of 7 seats in Bogmalo and 7 out of 11 seats in Chicalim. So we got more than a majority. So it shows that people are with us, and it has defeated once for all the opposition candidate. And if you look at some of the videos which came in public domain, in social media, just before panchayat election, what a shame that people can go to that low level, trying to hit below the belt, talking some nonsense as it happened during the last assembly election. What are these people trying to promote in society? They are so frustrated. Can't they wait for another 5 years? Panchayat election, you should stoop so low. They are lowering the standard of politics in Goa, and they profess themselves to be people from defense and everywhere else. They are bringing a shame to the defense forces.
Sir, a lot of...
Under me means, see, people from Cortalim Constituency, majority of the panchayats, I don't want to name them, have already contacted me. In some places they got majority on their own. Some places they were short of one person, two persons who personally knew me. So they took my help and they are forming their panels. What is wrong in that? They say, no, unless we are with the government, our jobs will not be done. We want to do real good work. I said, why not? And they have chosen to come to me. And some of my old opponents, even in my neighboring constituency, they have been very comprehensively been defeated, old faces. And there also new faces have come. And these new faces happen to be my strong supporters when I was there in that constituency. So it augurs well for Cortalim as well. I have to take personal credit for this. As I said, those are my karyakartas. I came basically from a student movement, from a youth movement. And as such, I have always encouraged youth. When our nation is young, we have the majority of the people in the young age, maybe from 18 to 35 or max 18 to 40, when the maximum population of this country is of that age, including in Goa. I thought it is my humble duty to get the youth to the fore, and I gave them a chance, and they have come out with flying colors. The more we channelize the youth in the great task of nation building, this nation is bound to progress, and that is what I have tried to do in a very humble way.
Yes, sir.
Pretending to be with me in my last assembly election, he made it a prestige issue in tandem with the so-called candidate in the last election, and they thought they will sweep this election, but I have shown them their place. I want to tell them, even in future you will say that it is my committed karyakartas who work day in and day out. They said, no, we have to defeat this negativism once for all.